Hey, Bill, we're going to take a look inward today.
Yeah, we're going to take a swim in Lake U.
Oh, yeah.
Talk about your personal life. Listeners love that stuff.
You guessed it. It's time to get personal.
Billy, this is your favorite thing, getting personal.
Indeed it is, Rossi. Indeed it is. Do you want to tee it up?
Yeah, sure. I'll tee it up, Bill, because this one, we were talking about, it makes me a little nervous, but we'll see. So here we go. What was the worst thing you did as a teenager?
Okay, so you do know, and this is a story for another time, but I was arrested for assault with a deadly weapon. But that's not even it, because that's a story for a different day. But we'll get to that maybe in another cold open or another point. But, it rained a lot recently. There was the torrential downpours in Foxborough, even though they portray it on NBC or whatever the hell it was as being in Boston, Massachusetts every time the Patriots play, even though that's not correct. But when I was in high school, I would drive around right after a rain like that, and I would splash people, and it was pretty mean. And it was usually people like on the way to the train. I remember I got this one lady, and I absolutely just drenched her in a giant like shower. It was a monsoon. And then I also, with one of my best friends, Anthony, was driving down Revere Beach one day, and there was a lady driving alongside of us on a bike, and there was a giant puddle, and I paced it so like I hit her for a good solid 6 seconds, almost knocked her off her bike, and then we were stupid. We didn't think she would be pissed, and we circled back around instead of just like going down Point of Pines and out. So she saw us, chased us down, and almost got to us at a red light. She would have banged on the doors. I would have rolled up my windows. I wasn't confronting this lady. But yeah, that was like, I got a lot of bad karma for that afterwards. It was probably the biggest dick thing I would do.
I was about to say, I really, as a teenager, I wasn't as douchey as I was in my early 20s, like with people like yourself and some of the dumb things we had done. But when I think about my teenage years, the first thing that came to mind was third day of having my license, puddle, seeing kids going to school. This is me driving to high school, Bill, seeing kids dressed up in their Catholic uniforms, splashing them, and feeling absolutely awful about 6 minutes later. So I don't know why. Maybe most people that are listening, I'd love to get their thoughts. They can tweet at us. But I think splashing people with your car is like one of the worst things you can do purposely when you know you're doing it. Because I purposely saw these kids and I was like, oh, F these kids. Watch what I'm about to do.
Well, I would actually just after a rain, I would go out and search. It wasn't even like happenstance where it was like, oh, here's an opportunity. Here's a moment. I looked for it.
So you're worse than I.
Well, if you talk to the average teenager of today and you ask them what it is about pop culture that they like, and the first thing they'll say is the beat.
Get yourself addicted.
Welcome into the Pop Culture Piledriver. Get addicted to the content. I am Jason Rossi. You can find me across all social media platforms at Jason D Rossi. And with me, first off, you can catch us on the Twitter machine together at Pop Culture PD, and it will instantly make you, Bill, make your toenails longer if you do it.
That was a weak one.
It was, but I didn't think about it earlier. And with me, as always, is my tag team partner in the podcast sphere. He can be followed at Billy D 2411, again, across all social media platforms. He's Billy D. What's going on?
Hello. Not too much. Watched a classic film this week and excited to talk about it.
Yeah, you can subscribe to us over on iTunes and review. We would really appreciate not a 1, not a 2, not a 3, not a 4, but a 5-star review. It would help us immensely. You can check us out on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music. Like and subscribe on YouTube, where we record these live, as well as on Twitter, and over on Facebook as part of the hashtag Dork Shared Gooniverse. In the podcast, we do have a nonprofit sponsor called Frank Says Hi. We mention it at the end of every podcast. And since 2008, Frank Says Hi has been raising funds for those affected by cancer, from students going to college to giving direct funds to cancer patients at Dana-Farber Cancer Institute here in Boston, a big, great facility for unique experiential events. And lastly, we must mention before we get to the pod, Bill, Davey and Dr. Joe being a part of it too, but Davey's Movember DSG page. You can check that out and donate. Big supporters of mental health and two of our good buddies here in the DSG. You can check it out at us.movember.com/team/2245362. In other words, go to Davey's handle at @RvonD. And Joe changed his Twitter, right? Isn't that like?
I think he had a poll to change it. I don't know if he's officially changed it though.
I thought I saw it's like back. I thought it was different from what I saw it before.
He Max suggested, and it was a good suggestion, that he change it and get it kind of unified across all platforms.
We all should. Bill, you did it over on the Instagram. I've been at Jason D Rossi for quite a while, so no, it's definitely a smart move. So Dr. Joe, do that. But more importantly, go check out Frank Says Hi. We any funds, anything you could support during these difficult holiday times would be great. And obviously Movember with Davey, Dr. Joe, and all of us are supporting that. Now, Bill, enough of the preambles, if you would, and now it is time to not, we kind of started off talking about some of the inner workings, but now it's time to get out of our mind.
Oh yeah, I'll be out on my mind, though.
Love that tune. And that's, oh yeah, where can we follow them again? Or
on Spotify, and you'll see it if you watch the podcast. It's OH, yeah. WYAH period.
YH period. Okay, got it. Out of my mind, Bill, would you like to go first?
Yeah, if you got the video queued up, let's hit it.
Let's do it. Oh, no, I almost hit delete. Here we go.
Oh, Baby Yoda. So, Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 3. It was good.
It's getting better?
Good. Sasha Banks made her debut. There was fun. There was excitement. There was plot twists. Stuff happened. Like, it was enjoyable. It was exciting. And I think the main takeaway is the problem is inherent with this show. You have a mechanical kind of puppet who doesn't really offer much but goo goo gaga and cuteness. Great character, like, idea to, like, kind of build the show around. Like, you have to get the child back to his people. But then the other character...
So it's like Alf?
A little bit. But the other character is a fucking Mandalorian who literally has no facial expressions, and he does not take off his mask at all. And in the episode 2, he was with another Star Wars-esque kind of character, like Baby Yoda, didn't really say much, didn't speak English, and that was basically the entire episode. So even though that one was better, it's just inherently a problem when no one can emote other than like a goo goo gaga or a head tilt, like a Mike Myers type shit in like a horror movie from The Mandalorian. So this one had people that were speaking English, that were talking to us. It was exciting, set it in the right direction. And one other quick thing,
please,
because you threw me under the bus. This is getting out of my mind right now.
Yeah,
you had me rank the DSG in order of how I like them.
Yeah, and I was going to do it again, but yeah, so that
was awful. Put me on the spot. But I thought about it. I thought really long and hard about it, and I redid
How
it.
How hard did you think?
All day. It was weighing on my mind because I think some people took offense.
Yeah, let me say something.
Lucy was on the podcast too, and like I just happened, like, I don't know, I just rattled off people that came to the top of my head.
Hold on. First of all, that's exactly the point. I didn't say think about this. It's supposed to be. That's the best reaction you get. It's a raw, natural reaction, and that's why I thought, not once a week, maybe so often. I'm just going to throw it at you. So maybe you'll be ready. Maybe you won't.
But at least give me something else besides something. Give me like best looking or like best. Well, maybe I don't know. But I redid the rankings, and
here we go. Here we go. Wow, I gotta kiss somebody's ass.
I don't. I do feel bad because Davey was basically dead last.
Well, Davey's because he's been dead last to our podcast.
But no, that's why he got bumped down the rankings. Like 2 months ago, he might have been in the Mount Rushmore of people. But I redid it, and surprisingly, you know who was number 2?
All right, well, why don't you just go? Why don't you go down?
You know who was number 2?
It should be me, but I'm guessing it would be number 2 would be
Fryer.
Okay, I didn't think
you know
him.
Who number 1 was?
Wes.
No, it was a tie. Everyone else.
I see what you did there, Bill. I see what you did. So again, I finished in the top 3. That's all I care about is finishing up the top somewhere. Also, by the way, if we're going to just do shots and stuff, Wes, formerly of the Boxers, big good fan of a friend of the DSG. I've seen him several times. Good guy, by the way. Good guy to share a drink with. He said some BS the other day, like, I only listen to Mac and Goo and I only listen to Dork. But then has comments on everything we do.
And it complimented us the other day in a private message, throwing him under the bus here. I really love what you guys are doing with your podcast.
Yeah. So I think he maybe listens, or at least the alert. Dude, it's okay. Just hit subscribe. Just listen for 13 seconds. That's all it takes. From being in the podcast world, all you need is someone to subscribe, leave a review, hit play for a little while. And yeah, the numbers, if I'm trying to sell some gigantic deal, my listen time ain't great, but all we're looking for is a little support. I support you, Wes, whatever you do. Anywho, but what's out of my mind, that actually might have to just be it. Well, I think that's, I thought you were going to try to completely kiss somebody's butt there for a minute, but instead, Fryer, who is watching, says, "You're dead to me." And he calls you William, like he knows you. But we'll see. Billy's rolling list will continue further on down the line. I think it's something maybe we will do with different categories of the DSG. But now, Bill, before we get to our main topic, we did our Dundie Awards for season 4. Actually, one thing I want to mention, I got a call from a friend of the podcast, Kevin, who we mentioned here, who may or may not be watching live with us, had somebody at his work wanted to ask me why I am the person that I am, legit. Had a conversation with this gentleman. So his name's Alex. Want to thank him for listening. Fan of the DSG. Apparently you had met him out one time.
I did. Yeah.
Okay. So he had a lot of questions, had a suggestion, wanted to know a lot about my endgame take, and eventually said, I think it's time for me I think that's one we've been holding out. That might have to kick off 2021, get through the holiday season, how I would have done and what my gripes are with Endgame. Because I did an episode of Dork, which you can go back in the history where me and Keith battled, but he's just louder and he hosts and didn't let me talk a lot. Crazy, right? But
I think, by the way, Keith was going to call you out on your horrible take being Toby. And it was. And
it was not a horrible take.
It was.
It was not. It was 14 episodes. Toby was a standout.
Nope.
Speaking of which, let's just get to these awards, which it was a great take. Everyone liked it. Number 1, we stopped the vote. All right, so here we go. The award for the Dundie favorite episode of season 4 by a landslide, Dinner Party. Saw that coming. Dundie for favorite season 4 character. Billy, you nominated Michael, and he won with 56% of the vote. The Dundie for least favorite episode. Favorite cold open. 50% of the vote went to Fun Run, the season opener, where Meredith gets hit by the car. Dundie for least favorite episode in season 4. It was pretty close, actually, the closest one of our votes, but 47% Job Fair, which I nominated. And Dundie for least favorite season 4 character was not Creed, was not Toby, Chair Model, with 57%. Lucy nominated that. So those Office people will return once season 5 is completed, which, by the way, Bill, it's like a gajillion episodes.
Yeah, they doubled down after they did not have a lot in season 4, even though there were, a bunch of grouped episodes.
Yeah, so that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. I will just say teaser, and I'm going to forget my thoughts once we get to it. Starts off real good, gets real weird for about a 4-episode stretch, and now we're back into Office Gold, in my opinion. But we'll get to all that, Bill, because today, you mentioned it. You went... Actually, I got one other thing, Bill. There's a lot going on. It was 2 years ago, this past Sunday, that me and you teamed up for our very first podcast together.
Oh, wow. So this was right around Royal Rumble time, I would imagine.
It was Survivor Series, but that's okay.
Oh, yeah, Thanksgiving.
It's a tradition.
I'm jumping ahead 2 months here.
Yeah. It was the Rossi on Wrestling Survivor Series news and predictions was our very first one. Then we did our live Survivor Series review, recorded live, which was actually tomorrow, 2 years ago with Daniel Bryan and Brock Lesnar as the main event. We both swooned over that and then kind of went on from there. And we've been doing this for 2 years together. This podcast over on Podomatic, I've been doing since 2014 in different variations. But yeah, me and Bill, a little anniversary, a little 2 year. What do we get each other?
I got you that Baby Yoda open.
And you know what? And I got you a cold, stiff glass of nothing. All right. So what are we here for, Bill? We both checked out the Thanksgiving classic Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. We are going to be reviewing that one. The movie, Bill, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is a 1987 American comedy film written, produced, and directed by the great John Hughes. Stars Steve Martin as Neal Page, a high-strung marketing executive, and John Candy as Del Griffith, a good-hearted but annoying shower curtain ring salesman. That's right, Bill. It was a real job. They share a 3-day odyssey of misadventures trying to get Neal home to Chicago in time for Thanksgiving with his family. This movie stars very small cast, Bill. Steve Martin as Neal Page. As we said, John Candy I think her name is Lila Robbins as Suzanne Page, the wife, who I thought was Andy McDowell, by the way. She kind of has a similar look.
Anybody could have played that role.
Honestly, me or you could have. Barely a part of it. Answered a phone a couple times. Michael McKean as State Trooper. Awesome in this role. Kevin Bacon as the
for 30 seconds.
But he's amazing, and we'll get to it. Kevin Bacon as the taxi racer, and another one is Scene Stealer. Dylan Baker as Owen, the kind of hillbilly hick who picks them up at one point. The movie opened up in American theaters on November 25th, the night before Thanksgiving in 1987. It was had a production budget bill of $30 million, which doesn't that sound a little high for 1987?
That's a lot. That seems like a lot. I'll tell you, they didn't spend it in certain places. We'll get to that.
Sure. And the movie finished after its run, not total after DVDs and sales later, but it only finished making $49.5 million. So just $19.5 million net. Not great.
Not great, Bob.
So when we do reviews of movies, Bill, and for people that are just joining us for the first time, we like to kind of look back and say, what was going on at the time? And I asked Bill and whoever may be with us at the time some questions. So 11/25/1987, Bill, what was the price of gas in America?
$1.05.
96 cents.
Ooh, okay.
Still cheap these days, but take me back.
I realized that Lucy's very good at this guessing game, and me and Mac, because Mac, they did a little guessing game as well on Mac and Goo, and Mac was just as clueless as I am for it.
Well, it's hard. It's not like you're not jotting it down. The number one record in the United States.
1987. I'm going to say something about Madonna.
Great guess. Moni Moni, Billy Idol.
Oh, okay. All right.
What a jam.
That's a banger.
Number one movie in the U.S. I'll give you a hint. Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Ooh, Arnold Schwarzenegger, 1987. No. Commando?
The Running Man.
All right.
Kind of a forgotten one there. Who is your WWF champion?
Gotta be. Ooh, was this when Hulk Hogan went away? I'm gonna go Hulk Hogan.
Hulk Hogan. Who is your NWA champion?
Sting.
Good guess. Ronnie Garvin, who lost it on Thanksgiving night, the next night, to Ric Flair at Starrcade. So this is, and WCW was just about to buy out the ANWA, like literally within weeks. So the ratings for this movie, Bill, on IMDb, it gets a 7.6 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes gives it a 91% critic, 87% user. Metacritic gives it it has a 72 out of 100. And now, Bill, we also grab random reviews. This time I did a little better job, I think, of grabbing random ones. Would you want the 1-star review or the 10-star review?
I'm telling you, always bad news.
All right, bad news first. 1-star review by S. Paul 10 on July 2005. It says, never gets to be funny. Both Candy and Martin are actors that need good circumstances or co-stars to give their performance life. Unfortunately, neither of them have the ability to play the role for each other. As a result, the film is bland, beginning to end with repeated moments of outright badness. The movie is with extreme predictability, seems to be written about these actors' trademark appearances. Candy is either charmingly naive or outrageously obnoxious. Martin is means well, but is eternal victim of circumstance. Unfortunately, this stands in the way of the seriousness of the story's development. A movie best forgotten.
I'm not going to say I totally agree because we're going to save that for the breakdown of the film, but not too far off. I think the movie has a lot of heart, though. I think that review's a little too... That guy was trying to be like fucking... it stinks. He's trying to be like... a little too much.
It stinks. Oh, that's great. A 10-star review titled Hilarious by Ron Bell 22 whatever in April 2019. Career best for both Martin and Candy. This is really what a great comedy looks like. If you cannot laugh out loud at this, you have no pulse.
All right, it lies somewhere definitely in between the middle there. It's not a 1-star. It's not a 10-star. It's a solid. It's solid.
It's a solid star. All right, Bill, let's get into those are the ratings. Curtain jerker, Bill. Did you like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles?
I did like it. I enjoyed the movie.
I did as well. I did like it. And how many? Let me just ask offhand: how many times have you seen this movie? This
was the first viewing ever.
Oh, so you've never seen this movie?
Never, no. That's why we did it. That's why we did it.
Oh, I don't remember. I just knew that this is the only movie I could think of around Thanksgiving time. That or Thanksgiving with the turkey. We could do that next week. No, we got plans, people. But yeah, okay, so you liked it. I liked it as well. I have a lot more history with it. It hits a kind of a couple emotional chords, but we'll discuss that as we go along. Up next in our questionnaires as we go down, casting. Bill, what did you think of the casting?
I mean, basically, it's just two people, right? It's a buddy, it's a buddy, a bromance type of movie. They're both iconic actors, right? But I wouldn't say either one. I don't agree that this is the best role that either of them have ever been in by a wide margin. And even getting into John Hughes, because I don't know how much we'll touch on him through the process of this breakdown. It's not even close to one of his top movies. I think the casting of those two is good. Like, they play off each other well. I'm a little bit leaning towards that guy. I don't think they make the perfect foil for each other. I think, Steve Martin is a great straight man and John Candy is a great funny man, but together the pairing isn't perfect. It's not like, Spade and Farley. It's not that level of goodness. It's not even Matthew Broderick and Jim Carrey, even though I don't like Matthew Broderick, like many people don't. I just think that they don't play off each other as well as I thought they would coming into this. Because I came into this movie with super high expectations, like through the roof.
Okay. See, I actually think it is Spade Farley to me. Because obviously you have to realize this movie is a huge inspiration to so Dumb and Dumber scenes to, obviously, I think the whole Tommy Boy movie, which we both loved.
Pretty much the same.
Yeah, you can go back in the archives. But I thought Steve Martin as the frustrated family man and John Candy as like that jolly oddball stranger kind of was a perfect mix. I thought the two of them together really did blend well. I know I mentioned earlier, I loved Michael McKean in the small role as the police officer and Dylan Baker as the one scene as Owen with the spitting hillbilly there. I thought that he was amazing. And he talks about how his wife. She's
small but strong.
She's small but strong. Yeah, let her get it. Like, no, we got it. Don't get out here. And she's got like a baby. She's
got a baby in the front seat of a pickup.
Unbelievable. Yeah, that was a great scene. But I liked the two of them. I actually liked Steve Martin a lot in these comedic roles. I don't know. I think people forget that he's like hilarious and that he basically just does comedies. Like, he's never really done any real big serious roles. Father of the Bride, obviously
Father
Three
of the
Amigos
Bride is a huge comedy. I love him.
That's what I'm saying. But I don't know what it is. I feel like he doesn't get the credit for being like. I don't know. I feel like he's maybe.
He was before our time. He was before
yes.
our time comedy, like The Jerk and the Three Amigos. He was obviously direct line to Everybody's Funny Bone back in the day. He's not really tickling my fancy too much. I love him in Father of the Bride. His freakouts are great in that, and I think obviously they're channeling Days of Future Pat. Like he did that for a long time before that. But like I think it plays off better in a movie like Father of the Bride than this. Again, John Candy, I like, but I think he's better in smaller doses. I don't think he's a huge like leading man.
So let's see here. That'll bring us to the Speak and Spell. What did you think, Bill, of the acting and writing in this movie?
It had a lot of heart at the end. It really finished strong up until about like the last 20 minutes of it. I didn't love the movie. I didn't really even like it. I thought it finished really strong. I thought it hit really well. That guy's review kind of tickled my fancy a little bit. It was a little bit, on the nose, a little bit like obvious writing. And, I said this about Schitt's Creek. It's the low hanging fruit. Those aren't pillows. That's
hilarious. Come on. Where's your other hand? It's between two pillows. It wasn't pillows. And then he gets up and he's like, they're both like acting on Millie. How about the game the other day? Oh yeah, tough game. Oh yeah.
It's fine, but it's just so like basic. And it's the 1980s.
1987.
But even still, there were, more clever comedy than just those aren't pillows. Like that really kind of like aggravated me. His like ridiculousness in the bed. Everything was a little bit too over the top. So didn't love it until the end. I thought they built the story nicely with his wife being dead the whole time while they were going down the road. What? That was not fucking spoilers. The movie's fucking 30 years old. So I did not love the writing in this one. And again, John Candy, besides like Uncle Buck, which is one of my favorite movies. Again,
Uncle Buck's amazing.
Huge. I think he's better like Hughes. I think he's better in a little bit, not totally out. I don't think the totally outlandish. It's just too much of him. And it's not like It's not charming like Chris Farley. It's a little bit annoying. And I know he's supposed to be annoying, but it was grating on me. Like I was supposed to have fun during this movie, and I was kind of aggravated.
All right, you're a monster, but that's fine. For me, the acting was good. I didn't have any issues with any of the acting. I thought overall the writing was above average for comedies of this time. If you really look back and take a snapshot of some of the comedies, like this one, like you said, not only was there like good storytelling, good story arc, how we got to places really made a lot of sense. The overall, dynamic between the two characters, I thought meshed well through the writing. I had no issues there. I thought
again, but like there was some like little things with the writing, like the wife saying, "I'll wait up for you." It's fucking. He was gonna be home at 10 o'clock. You're gonna wait up till 10 o'clock? Like your bedtime's that early that you have to say that to your husband?
She got kids. You go to bed early.
She's got
you need
kids
to get to bed.
with all bowl cuts that are like my age, like that were like 6 or 7. They weren't like
there was a baby. There was a young kid. There was a kid.
They didn't show that like young baby till the very, very end, and that kid was probably sound asleep. I mean, other stuff, the trope of him selling, like they always kind of have that guy in the plane selling some weird shit, and he's selling like the tops of fucking shower curtains.
Oh, it's amazing.
The best part with that was when he was selling them as earrings and shit, and like different. Like,
in the girls, and he's like, it makes you look older. It was great. Great writing. All right, next category, Bill, is one we both kind of hit home with. It's Hit My Music. How did you like the use of music in planes, trains, and automobiles?
This was one of the worst uses of music I've ever heard in my entire life. Everything was kind of just generic. It looked like they picked it off of the wall. Like, obviously, now you have those stock music websites, but everything was kind of like bing, bida, ding, 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 diddle, ding, 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 diddle, ding, ding. They had like country twang at some points. It was just all over the place. They didn't, whatever the $30 million went to, it must have been on the huge, like, crazy shit that happened on the highway, because it certainly wasn't dumped into the music budget. This music sucked.
All right, I was gonna say I wouldn't say it was spot on. I'm not gonna go as far as you were. I don't think it sucked.
It was awful.
I love like the mess around when he's when in the famous scene on the highway when they're going the wrong way and John Candy's playing the piano, smoking a cigarette. I thought I was just like the jazz.
I think that was an actual real song though. At that point, it was one of the few times they used a real song.
Yeah, they had that, and they had Back in Baby's Arms. That was when they were at one of the diners. I know that song because it's in like commercials a lot. But I thought, it wasn't spot on, but I didn't find it to be annoying, bad, and like the overall music for the time frame. Like maybe it's just because I grew up on those 80s comedies. Like I'm used to that kind of music bed and that kind of hokiness, like wow, like a lot of steel guitar and like wham bars and stuff like that is part of the music.
Didn't like it.
Did not like it. Hey, look at that. Speaking about Wes,
Wes is watching us live.
See, may not listen, but he watches. All right, next category. Appreciate the beard shout out. We're trying to keep it strong till 2021, and hopefully we'll have a Santa beard coming up. Again, the visual side. If you're an audio podcast, you can check out pictures on Twitter. All right, Bill, this is the part where we obviously just throw it in here, and we're really bad at it because we never do a good job, but let's act out a scene, if you'd like. I can just do one very quickly. It's a scene it's the reason I'm acting it out is because it's really not that much acting. Steve Martin, when they're on the bus and like they're obviously next to John Candy, he just looks over and goes, "Take a picture. It lasts longer." Complete dink. Love that line to this day. It's been used in other movies, but to this day, I love that line. I think it's hilarious.
Okay, so mine is, if I wanted a joke, I'd follow you into the John and watch you take a leak. Like, that is a fucking bold card to play to a complete stranger, and I'm glad he got popped, because at that point, I don't think he had earned as angry as he was. He didn't have, like, the Mikey Douglas falling down type of day. He wasn't, like, it wasn't that bad. After that, like, once they actually get into the car, then shit gets real, and I could see why you would be that angry. And he berates the poor lady that was the secretary from Ferris Bueller.
Yeah, she deserved it. That woman
didn't.
Bill, she's over there talking about Thanksgiving dinner. They left this guy stranded without the car not being there. She didn't
do it.
Wait, well, give me a manager. He's pissed at this point. I love that scene because it's complete. You're right. It's never that person's fault. And then I love how he's like swearing, saying the F word like 5 times. That's another great line writing in that one. And then she's like, "Well, guess what?" He's like, "What?" She's like, "You're fucked." Cut scene right there. Good editing. Good stuff right there. Love that scene. Good stuff there. And a great, like when he gets decked right in the face. By the way, there's no wounds on him. Just totally fine there. Also, another great scene is when they back into the motel and destroy it. And then he's just like, "Let's get out of here." Great.
So, a good friend of ours did that. Backed into a motel room and went through the actual front of it. One of the London girls was like one day
No.
pulling up when they, were inhabiting one time a motel, and they backed right into it and like literally fucking
went through it.
Car went through, like back fucking trunk in the motel room, Holiday Inn.
Wow. The only thing I can think of a motel in Saugus area at high school prom, we destroyed the Town Line Inn. There was cops. Everything was
That's
bad.
when you went after high school prom?
I didn't choose it. It was our junior year. Yeah, that's where everybody congregated and threw a television out, threw a bed, the mattress out. Big brawl broke out because it was a rival school there. People, drinking, underage, being dumb. That was kind of scary. Then that was the only I've never seen a car actually go through. Actually, I've seen a car through things. I've just never been a part of that. That's scary. And the other thing that they're both criminals, John Candy in this movie and Steve Martin. You can't just go through a motel and just drive away. You monsters. Just like Bill reviewing this movie thus far. Up next, Bill, is The Legacy. What is the most memorable thing from this movie?
I honestly think it's still the cover photo of the movie. I mean, that's kind of what stuck out to me. Like when you said this movie, I remember seeing that. And at the end of it, I guess it's just their relationship. I really like the heartwarming moment at the end. That kind of sticks with me a little bit. But to me, it's just kind of like the odd couple effect of Steve Martin and John Candy on the road together. There's no one shining moment, I guess the wrong way. But to me, it's just that picture of Steve Martin, all frazzled on the bench with him hugging him. Like that's the thing that's the lasting image in my head.
Yeah, for me, the legacy of this one is, I think it's the Rossi effect. Let me hang around long enough and I'll grow on you. You'll want me to be around for a little bit. John Candy's character just, as you mentioned, the heart of this, finding out his wife, is dead, has been dead for years too. And he talks about her, he speaks to her. Yeah, he speaks to her before the motel drive-through scene when he's just Steve Martin's had it with him. So John Candy has to sleep outside and it's just sad. He's like, I wish you were here. I think Marie, and you would tell me what to do. And it's just really sad at the end when you think about why he is the way he is for all these reasons and why he's so drawn to continue to stay with Steve Martin, because it's the first person that's probably actually paid long enough attention to him. That is a huge part. This being a Thanksgiving movie is a huge part of the legacy because it pops up around this time of year. It's not really debatable. It's not like one of those diehards, is it, isn't it? It's really the only notable Thanksgiving movie I can really think of. I'm sure there's some holiday movies or come home movies for people.
Again, though, it doesn't really have to be. It's kind of like the Home Alone theory. It could happen at any time and it really wouldn't matter.
Oh yeah,
too much.
I completely agree. I think that but the Thanksgiving gives it the deadline. Why I have to get home to be with my family on Thanksgiving? Who wouldn't want that? And especially the year we're living in right now, I don't think we're going to be having that kind of feeling.
And the other thing I would say for The Legacy is what it did for other movies. You kind of mentioned what it did for Tommy Boy, and they basically steal this exact storyline for Home Alone. This is a part of Home Alone. Yeah. The mother is stranded, and she has to get in a fucking big-ass van in the back of it with John Candy.
And who's in that van, baby?
It's John Candy. So there's so many parts of this movie that you see in so many other road trip, buddy, odd couple type of movies. And this kind of is the template for a lot of that. So I think that's a little bit of the legacy too. You see so much from this Tommy Boy with the car all torn apart and the way they're just being pissed off at each other driving down the road. But then they have the bonding moments, the singing in the car moments. So I think that's probably the legacy is it does everything that this movie does. When somebody else does it, they do it way better. But it's a good movie. As much as I shit on it, I did enjoy it.
I can't tell whether you like it or not anymore. I feel like you've gone the other way. But now, then, and forever, whatever which way you want to put it, will this movie stand the test of time, Bill?
No, it was enjoyable, but I don't think it's a classic film. Ooh. I really don't. I think I wouldn't even put it if I were to rank my John Hughes movies, this might not even be in the top 11. Well,
that I can't disagree with. But I completely disagree. I think it's not only a classic. Like you said, all these movies spun from this one. This movie brought the oddball couple together with this destination, with the time frame. There's stupid movies like Due Date out there, with Robert Downey Jr. and Zach Galifianakis that this movie took. Somebody watched this and said, I'm going to make another one of these. We mentioned Tommy Boy. Dumb and Dumber has stuff from this. You mentioned Home Alone. all these movies take from this movie, and especially it is a holiday. At the end of this movie, it really comes down to family, love, coming together, and around a holiday. I think this movie is not only a classic, it is a Thanksgiving classic. It's a movie you should watch around this day. It makes you appreciate your family that you have. So I think this movie not only stands the test of time, I think it is a classic. And for the John Hughes argument, John Hughes was the king of the teen dramas, from Pretty in Pinks to The Breakfast Club to all
but
of
he
those.
also did Ferris Bueller, Home Alone, Vacation, Uncle Buck, Christmas Vacation, Home Alone 2, The Great Outdoors, which is, a different, pairing with John Candy, but that's a movie. I don't know how this movie slipped through the cracks. Mr. Mom, by the way. I don't know how this movie slipped through the cracks.
Has some misses.
This is, right in my wheelhouse of the comedies my parents would watch. Maybe they just didn't like this one, or they never saw this one and it wasn't that. But I don't know, your argument of this being a Thanksgiving classic, that's like, oh, it's an Arbor Day classic. There's no other Thanksgiving movie. So sure, it's a Thanksgiving classic. It's the only one.
I think it's people, if you were to ask people, hey, Thanksgiving, what are you going to watch? Aside from Charlie Brown Thanksgiving, which Charlie Brown gets credit for all the holidays, it's Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. You want to watch it because
I don't think I'm going to watch this.
You did. It's too late. You already watched it. We got you.
I'm not watching it.
Yearly tradition.
No.
Yearly tradition.
I'll make the Naked Gun my Thanksgiving traditions.
Well, that's fine. But before this movie, just again, the big thing for John Hughes was those teen. This was his first dip into real adult movies outside of just slapstick stuff like the National Lampoon's movies that you mentioned. But I like it. I think the movie is a classic. But anything else you want to say about this? Anything else you want to mention in our pull apart?
I mean, the ending was really nice. I didn't love the way they kind of had to cut it back and forth to make Steve Martin, realize his wife was dead. Very odd flashback cutting, but the heart that the movie showed at the end, plus my viewing experience probably also did not help me with this. I watched it on demand on Stars on Demand, and it had the commercial breaks in between, and I was furious. I would have paid $14.99 to not have watched this like that, because they would be in mid-conversation, at the diner, and boom, it cuts to a fucking 90-second commercial. And it took me over 2 hours, way over 2 hours, to watch this movie, and it's only 82 minutes of runtime.
Short movie.
I was fucking pissed.
Bill, you don't have a cheaper friend than me. Well, you might, but I'm pretty cheap, and I paid up. I went over to the Amazon and paid up on this one because.
But sometimes when it's on demand, you can just actually watch it like a movie. There might be a commercial to start, and that's what I thought it was, and then there was a commercial every 4 minutes.
Dude, I'll be honest, the on-demand viewing of movies is one of the worst things because you don't know when the commercial is coming. And then there's a timer up on the left, so know it's 90 seconds. I'd rather not know it's 90 seconds. I'd rather just sit there and be like, oh, that wasn't too bad. Imagine every commercial break in a sporting event just being yeah, we're coming back in 3 minutes. You're
it was brutal watch. Again, I will say, enjoyed it, but I don't think it's a great movie.
So I just my other thoughts on it. I love this movie. I think there's so much more good than there is bad. I understand where you're coming from to a degree. But overall, I just find this movie to be heartwarming. Again, family. It brings a lot of emotions out of people, especially around this holiday season. It's a great way to kind of kick off before Christmas viewings, if you would, or your holiday movie viewings. It's a great way to start those if you're going to do a bunch of movies. You're just going to feel good. And John Candy's absolutely hilarious. Steve Martin, absolutely hilarious. This movie has laugh out loud moments when Steve Martin almost gets his head ran over several times. I don't know what. It's the repetition made me laugh. Every time, and just the way these two kind of run into each other when they think you're not going to see each other anymore. I really like the movie. If it's for me, I've dug it. It's been a tradition for me for years, so obviously a little bit of emotion tied to it, but great movie overall, in my opinion.
So last thing, real quick, one more pull apart here. Nice. Shout out to these office people. They do a little bit of this. Those office people. We're here right now, two of us at least, and they do the Flintstones, meet the Flintstones, and then just like John Candy, Michael Scott does the Wilma. So they pay homage to that as well. So that's a nice little nugget from podcast to podcast here.
Also, great scene there when it's all right, Neal, why don't you sing us something?
Oh my God, that was funny. When he sings a song that nobody fucking knows.
Yeah, and then John Candy's just Flintstones. Oh, that's what made me laugh. I laughed a lot.
We had this moment happen to us on a field trip in high school, and I think we sang
Baby Got Back?
No, it was an Offspring song that everybody knew. And then Todd Newman, one of our most unfortunate friends at the time, he literally, and to his credit, this is a great story, quick one. He is now married to the woman that he like got a date with for the first time in high school by going in class, in a science class, holding up his book and going, I think there's some chemistry between us. And it was a chemistry textbook. No. And it worked. He pulled her. But he after we finished the Offspring song, he's like, let's sing Notorious Thugs by Notorious B.I.G., which if you know that song, it's like the fastest rap song ever. And we all just looked at him like, no, that's impossible.
So wait, did you say, or so he was, I get it. So he wasn't the song you actually
He tried
sang.
like Armed and Dangerous, say too many. It's like, well, no.
So that's his suggestion on the bus, like going on a field trip. That was his.
Yeah.
This guy seems like a kook, but hey, pulled that girl. What a line, by the way. All right, Bill, now it's time to rate Planes, Trains, and Automobiles from a scale of 1 to 11.
5.5, 6? 6. I'll give it a 6.
You can give it what you want. Is it a 6?
6.
I like this movie a hell of a lot more than you do. My scales are obviously, I'm still very gun shy after giving such great scores early. I still think it's a great movie in my opinion, but I wouldn't say it's like a world beater must watch like any time of year. I think it really fits this time. Kind of like what we talked a little bit with some of the horror movies we reviewed. There's certain times for them and certain times you could, maybe just avoid or, hey, check it out during Halloween season. But for this, I gave it a 7.5 out of 11. Love it. Love what John Hughes did. Again, not his best movie, probably not by far. Great, that could be a podcast all on its own.
Oh, that's definitely a top 11.
Yeah, oh, that's an interesting one. That could be a draft. That's a lot of stuff there. But John Hughes is great. Obviously, R.I.P. No longer with us, I believe. Right? I'm pretty sure he's been dead for a long time. Let's see if I'm right on that before I really get embarrassed.
2009? Nope. I think died 2009.
Yeah, I thought he died a while ago. R.I.P. Thank you, by the way. Well, not thank you, but thank you for your movies and contributes. Picking the pod there. All right. But Bill, so a 6 out of 11. I'm giving a 7.5. So that would give it a 6.7 out of 11 PCP score. Let us know what you think. How would you rate Planes, Trains, and Automobiles out of 11? You could tweet at us at Pop Culture PD. We're not the police, but too much, not enough time and not enough characters, and you don't want that long of a handle anyways. Bill, anything else before we move on from our topic here of Planes, Trains, and Automobiles?
I'm glad I saw it because now I think I've seen almost every big John Hughes film. And out of the ones I've seen, I can't think maybe Home Alone 3 is worse than this.
You got to be kidding me. I don't think Home Alone 3 counts, by the way. I don't think that was actually John Hughes.
It's John Hughes.
No, I think that's one of those, like, he gets
just his idea?
Because it was his characters, because it's not a book or anything like that. Like, he made...
Well, it was a completely different, like, kind of characters. It wasn't even, like,
No, but I think it was
I
think it's Kevin McAllister as the character, I believe.
No, it's like it's a kid who's younger than him.
Oh,
it's
God.
like,
is it really? Is it John Hughes, then?
Yeah, I think it is.
Oh, boy. Let's get into This Week in Dork.
This week in Dork. Shared Universe.
All right, so this week in the Dork Shared Universe, I am pulling it up right now because I have actually no idea because I did not do my research here. So,
well, you can start with, I can tell you with fill in the blanks, but what did Back and Goo do, Bill?
They did that's always true. They did the 1989 classic Aliens.
That's right.
And then the rest of the DSG did, it's not in here either. TLDR did comics. Furloughed Friends. I like how you have Furloughed.
I don't know what it's called. All right. I'm sorry, Lucy, Fry. You guys do a great job. I just don't know the damn name.
Furloughed Friends did stuff.
Yeah, they did stuff.
I listened to the beginning of Dork, but I don't remember what they did.
They did they did their essential movies last week. This week was it's right on the tip of my tongue. It was like something else like that. Not essential. I can tell you what Changed My Mind did, if that helps.
What did they do?
Dork did Happy Place, by the way.
Okay, what is that?
I didn't listen yet. I have to get to it. It just happened last night. Go check them out. But Changed My Mind did Build a Cinema 2000 featuring Lucy.
Oh, okay.
I'm guessing that's a movie draft from the year or something like that. Again, did not listen yet. We'll check it out. They both recorded the night before this. So if you're listening, whenever you're listening, go check out all of our friends as a part of the hashtag Dork Shared Universe. Dork, Mac and Goo, Changed My Mind. Those are the podcasts, and please do give them all 5-star reviews like us.
Yeah, and then don't forget Chime, Dr. Joe, and Davey. He be twitching as well. And don't forget, once again, go to the Movember page. Just go search him on Twitter, RVonD, and go support him. Go support Joe as well. And then Thursday, Joe and myself are going to be starting a podcast called I've Heard It Both Ways, and that might be changing because there's another psych podcast that hasn't had an episode since like 2018, and they only did 2 total, also called I've Heard It Both Ways. So
Working title?
I think we might keep it. I don't know.
I would say if it's only been 2 podcasts, Bill, you're more creative than them. Take it. And if anybody found that or whatever reason, then it would point to you anyways.
Yeah, so I think we're going to keep with the I've Heard It Both Ways. I didn't think that would be taken for a psych podcast already. But again, they haven't done one in a while. But we will be doing one on Thursday, so get ready for that.
Is that going to be Thursdays potentially, or just will be a working schedule?
I think it will be Thursdays for now, and then I think we're going to have to figure some stuff out later on. But for right now, Thursdays. And don't forget, if you haven't seen Psych before, go watch the first episode. And if you have seen Psych before, go back and watch it again, because I'm going to do it. I've already seen it like 3 times, the first episode in the last probably 2 weeks, so I'm going to watch it again tonight.
I'm actually going to be starting a new podcast too. It's called How I Met Your Mother.
Oh, God.
No, I'm just kidding. But no, so the question is, so as someone who's not watched, you had me watch 1 episode. I've seen like 3, and I saw the movie because I thought I was watching the new movie at that time. Remember, I was texting you, I'm like, this is hilarious. And you're like, no, it's the first one. Anyways, but so it's good to watch the episode prior to the podcast.
I would say
or
so,
does
yeah.
it fit either way? Like, just say I listen to you because I'm going to listen. I'm going to support. If I listen after, could I watch it after? Or is it better?
No, it's gonna be all spoilers. We're not gonna do like a preview of it. You don't necessarily, there's not really much to the show in the way of spoilers. There's no huge story arc that unfolds. I mean, there's a love interest in like the 2nd episode, and eventually they get together. Not a shocker. That's kind of how all these things do.
Is there sex on the show?
Yeah. Drinky, slumber party, nudie time. Yeah.
Oh, I like that. Okay, no, I'm looking forward to that. So that will be coming to channels near you. We're going to have it on YouTube here. You guys going to be hosting?
YouTube, Twitch, and
Twitch.
We might put out on a separate podcast channel from us, just so we don't cloud up the stream.
We'll figure it out. We can talk about it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Also, we talked about the 2-year anniversary. I've been talking about some wrestling stuff, so I'll probably start doing some shorts so a little Rossi on wrestling coming back as well. So a lot of content coming from us. Good stuff. Looking forward to, this Psych podcast. Also, right here on the mothership of Pop Culture Piledriver. Now, next week we will do, I think, tearing it up a little bit, we will do a dessert tier list, but I think we can make it like a holiday dessert tier list, but we could talk about, we can fine tune it because there's so many desserts in the big scheme, but maybe we make it holiday themed, maybe we don't. You'll come back next week, and hopefully we'll have a special guest with us as well. I've already dropped a question mark to them, so we shall see.
All right.
Outside of the DSG, by the way, expanding our horizon. Also, coming up once we get to the holiday, we have a couple things lined up. There'll be a top 25 holiday movies of the DSG. Also, we'll be doing the top 11 songs right on December 1st, I believe is actually a Tuesday. We'll kick it off with the top 11 Christmas songs, and that list is going to be a bloodbath. It is going to be.
We're going to get so much hate, and this is why Davey probably came in, 3rd to last on the list, because I love him and I think we have, a lot in common. But now, anytime he talks about us, if I'm watching him, you can see the eye roll. But even if I'm listening, I can hear him roll his eyes. I can see it and hear it in my head. I can hear just like the sound your eye would make if it rolled into the back of your head.
He's the Undertaker. Okay.
Especially when we talk music. He hates when we talk music.
Oh, listen, I don't appreciate everything everybody else talks about, but I like it and I listen and I compliment. I don't ever say bad things. No, kidding aside, rubber bullets throughout the DSG, but yeah, we'll see. So that's going to be an interesting one. Me and Billy will both rank individual top 20s. It will come out with a top 11. That'll be coming December. We'll also have some movie reviews, some more fun when it comes to the holidays, some great ideas coming up for 2021 as we are so looking forward to it. Again, support us over on iTunes with a 5-star review. We can't thank you enough again for 2 years of listening. For people that listened originally just for the wrestling content, bring a little bit of that back. For Billy's sparkling personality and mine, combining us together here for now Pop Culture Piledriver. We do movies. We haven't really done anything video games yet, which I think when it comes to Christmas, as we get closer, Bill, we could do our favorite Christmas gifts ever received, something like that, which I think that would heavily involve video games. But movies, music's big with us. We're both big music guys. So just overall, we couldn't thank you enough if you made it this far in this podcast, as just listening at any time, telling a friend, making fun of me, making fun of Bill. If it brings a conversation up, it makes us, it's why the reason we do it. We're good buddies, and it's a great way for us to get together. As Bill once told me, I don't miss you anymore.
But it is true, and I think Keith gave this this advice a little while ago about staying connected to your friends. I feel like I have not missed a step with you because we do this every week and we find a way to connect through this. And I feel like big time. But like, I feel like I haven't been away from you when I, in actuality, haven't seen you physically probably since February.
Yeah, it's been
early March.
Early March before you went. Whenever you went to Chicago, that was like the last time. Right before that, and then you're like you said though, like other buddies, it's like random texts here and there, and like group chats that I feel like are dead in the water. I feel like we barely text on that thing anymore. But nonetheless, it's always good to be with my guy Bill here. But follow him, by the way, at Billy D 2411 across all social media platforms. He'll be dropping knowledge, some bombs, and he makes all the great creative you see here, as well as me doing not much at Jason D Rossi. Follow us at Pop Culture PD. And again, we'll be back with you guys next week. Appreciate you guys so much. Bill, any final words for the folks?
Go check out the new intro I did for Mac and Q. It's on my Instagram. I think they'll play it the next time they have a full episode. And I'm doing the What If Wrestling. I just didn't realize it was 14 minutes of audio, so that's going to take some time.
I told you it doesn't have to be perfect. It should just be me, but we'll talk about that. I have a couple of more written. You've made me insecure about it, but I feel good about my life. No. I'm just kidding. I don't really care. I think the way anyways, this is off pod talk. But yeah, look out for that. Bill's got the intro to it already. Well, you'll see it. It's going to make us a lot of money on YouTube because we're going to crush it. On that note, we will catch you all next week. Be good. Be nice to your friends, your neighbors. Cheers to you all. Stay hydrated. Frank says hi.